We have halved the tournament, and from 16 now we're down to 8. Hello and welcome to the 2021 Elkhart County Historical Museum Collections Bracket. We've made it to the second round. It's hard to believe. Through all the great matchups we've had, we are now in the Elite 8. So before we show you today's matchup, let's just simply go over what has made it into the Elite 8. So there you see the entire bracket from the 16 all the way down to the 8, who has made it in, who has been left out. So as you can see, the teams that are the items that have made it into the Elite 8 and the matchups that you'll see going forward in the next week or so. First, we have the Conn Case Dept woodcutter photo going up against the Violet Schmidt autograph book. The autograph book probably getting the biggest upset of the entire tournament, taking out last year's champion, the Napanee Dutch Kitchenette. The next matchup, the 1958 Centennial Band uniform going against the folding bed. After that, section 3, we have the chap record book versus Maud Essex trunk. Now, little prediction here, I'm calling it right now. Whoever wins this matchup, I think is probably gonna take it all. There's two really great objects. You, the voters, really like both these objects. The chap record book is an interesting story, and nobody circles the wagons like Maud Essex trunk. And finally, another really great matchup, bricks from the county home versus a textile from the surrender flag of Robert E. Lee. So there you have it. We have some really great matchups in the Elite 8. Of course we would, because as we go forward, these items get stronger and stronger, and the stories get better and better, and so does the history that you'll be learning. Now, the other thing we have to point out is that as we started this tournament, this was a battle of the staff. And one of our staff members, all 4 items got eliminated. Our museum administrator, Julie, is now out of the tournament. So here she is to explain her early exit in the bracket.
Well, round 1 of the 2021 collections tournament is behind us. And I brought my Kleenex because, as if some of you know, if you've been following the tournament, none of my objects advanced to round 2. I'm going to have to really think about what I'm going to bring to the table next year for the tournament. The 2022 tournament, I'm going to have to sweep that, so be prepared to vote for the things that I choose, because you, the voters, really let me down. So enjoy the rest of the tournament. Vote for your favorite objects. Let's see what makes it to the Final 4 and then the championship match. Thanks for supporting us, and come and see us at the museum.
Sorry, Julie. Your objects, I guess, just didn't measure up. But Michelle, Chloe, and myself are still in it, and we're vying to see who has the winner for this year's tournament. Now that we've gone over the Elite 8, let's get to today's matchup. Today we have a great matchup of the Conn Case Woodcutters Department photo going against Violet Schmidt's autograph book. Each staff member, this time being Chloe and Michelle, will have 2 minutes to present their object. And in the end, you'll get to vote. So let's send it out to our staff to explain each object.
All right, here we are in the Elite 8. Thank you so much for voting along the Conn Woodcutters photo. It seemed clear you guys wanted to know more about what's going on in this picture. And honestly, you and me both. This photo is actually a little bit of a mystery in our collection. We assumed these are Conn employees because it came to us, the photograph came to us with a collection of photographs of other Conn employees, including another young man working in the case department and some employees in the brass works. The only other kind of clue we have to give us some idea what might be going on is a note on the back that says that this was maybe taken east of Beardsley, on Beardsley Avenue, east of the Conn factory. So I thought that's a good place to start. So I went ahead and pulled the 1915 plat book for Elkhart County, since that's around the time that this photo was taken. In 1910 is when Conn built his the factory on Beardsley Avenue. And if we look at the area surrounding it, we can actually see that Conn owned a whole bunch of that property, and he had developed most of it into residential. But there are 2 big swaths of land east of the factory that appear to just be sort of open space. If this was woodland, he certainly could have hired some laborers to clear that wood and use it in the case department. I don't think that it would have provided enough wood for all the cases. He probably still had lumber imported, maybe even from Napanee, where a lot of lumber was being produced. But if he had the land and it was wooded, I could certainly understand him using that resource. To me, that makes sense why this appears to be sort of a temporary structure that these guys are working at, and even why it's maybe younger men, just maybe temporary labor. They would have been clearing that land as long as there was wood to clear. To give you some context where that's located now, if you are at the Flavor Freeze on Bristol Street and you look across Bristol Street, that's pretty much the property we're talking about. So next time you're eating your ice cream cone, you can think about these guys and go ahead and send them along to the Final Four, and I'll be happy to do more research to discover what's going on. Thanks so much, and we'll see you for the next one.
Thanks to everyone who voted to get this book through to the next round. We left off in the last video with a knock at the Schmidt family door, and that knock turned out to be the men of the 20th century. This was Christmas morning, 1936, and they brought Violet a brand new winter wardrobe and enough goodies and treats to share with her family. But the biggest opportunity was, one, to ride the train to Chicago. So in January 1937, Violet and her mother took a trip to Chicago, where they met the president of the New York Central, and they gave a radio interview. And it was this radio interview that inspired Clara Ford to write this children's book. And this children's book led to a U.S. tour, 3,000-mile tour across the U.S. by train, of course, where Violet and Clara publicized this book. They traveled around and promoted it. And it was an amazing experience. Violet gave an interview and talked about this in a newspaper article. But tragically, in 1939, Violet's family was torn apart when her mother died unexpectedly. And we found a report that says Violet's father, George Schmidt, disappeared and his clothing was found near the Elkhart River bank, sadly. And then Violet's siblings and herself were sent to the Fort Wayne orphanage. And it was her time at this orphanage that led her to play baseball for Fort Wayne women's softball team. But this led to an even bigger opportunity because she auditioned for the Rockford Peaches, and she made it, and she became a pitcher for the Rockford Peaches, which is incredible. All you fans of A League of Their Own will know how amazing that is. And if you want to find out about Violet's time with the Rockford Peaches, you're just going to have to vote this book through to the next round.
Two more really great stories, two more really great items in our collection, and two more really great pieces of Elkhart County history. We hope that you are learning a lot during this tournament, and more importantly, we need you to tell us which one is going to punch their ticket to the Final Four: the Woodcutters Department photo or the autographed book. So when you watch these videos, either on the Elkhart County Historical Museum Facebook page or the Elkhart County Parks YouTube page, you need to leave a comment, because the comment you leave and the item you choose is your vote to see who moves on. So make sure that your voice is heard and that your vote gets counted. And trust us, the electoral integrity holds up here. So keep voting, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at our next matchup.